everybody one time, Simple Church. So what I'm talking about, son, Mark Stuart, Will McGinniss from Audio A. Give them a little love one more time. Let them get the know.
Oh, my goodness.
The love's in the house. That's what I'm talking about, man.
I think Will broke his leg.
Hey, it's just been a while, son.
I think I messed a lot of notes up there, too. Forgive me on that.
Hey, it's all right. It's fun, man. You just get to have a good time.
It was definitely fun.
Hey, listen, we are all about having a good time, and these guys know a good time better than anyone else that I know. These are my heroes. These are the people that I have looked up to for many, many years. So you're going to get a special treat today because, seriously, I love these guys like my brothers, and they're awesome, awesome dudes. And there's some cool stories you're going to hear, so hang on, get ready for the ride. Let me go ahead and tell you truthfully, though, I got a confession to make. Y'all remember when K-Max came to town? Y'all remember K-Max DC Talk? Anybody remember when he was here? Let me hear you if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
See, they don't really care. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, I remember, but it don't mean anything. But here's what I'm telling you. Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing. K-Max came out. We had a big 90s party. We were having a good time. And then I kind of told a little white lie. Here's the proof. Let's watch. He has the most powerful, awesome voice.
That my voice is like a Christmas tree with too many lights on it. So too many notes on that one. Some of the guys in the band would give me a hard time because I was just bored with the same note every night. So I had to do like 15 notes. And
So here's the deal. I love K-Max. I love his voice. But I told him he was my favorite voice. It's not really true. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Stuart is my favorite voice in rock and roll, son.
Mine too.
Hey, I'm telling you, you don't know. Now, because you and Kevin are friends, it ain't personal. I mean, when he watches this, K-Max, we love you, dog. It's all good.
Oh, yeah, we love you, Kevin.
But there's nobody like Mark Stuart, man. How long have y'all been friends? How long have y'all known all the DC Talk guys and all that stuff?
We met them in 1989.
All the way back in Bible college.
Yeah,
Son.
that's a long, long time. Our kids hang out. I wouldn't be surprised if my kids marry his kids and they start a DC Talk Adrenaline and
DC Adrenaline.
Yeah, something. But yeah, we've known each other. We love those guys. Kevin, they're all dear friends. Kevin lives down the street and we hang out every week.
Well, this is what we talked about when he was here. He was like, hey, man, I mean, I know Mark. And I was like, well, look, we're going to Haiti. This is funny. When Kevin was here, I was leaving for Haiti like the next week. And I was like, dude, just cancel your stuff and come with me.
He almost came, didn't he?
And Kevin was like, man, I think I'm going to do it. No, I ain't gonna do it. I'm like, come on, bro.
That's classic Kevin.
Yeah, I'm like, let's do it. But this is what makes these guys so awesome. You want to be with them. You want to go to their shows. You wanted to hang out with them. Authentic, real, genuine guys. But I got to prove to this audience, they don't know you, man. They don't know this audio adrenaline. And listen, adrenaline for a reason, man. We need you to get up and have some fun. You got another opportunity coming in a minute. But I'm gonna take you back to 2003, I think. This was a huge show, man. This is why I got this Alive shirt on, man, because it was just pure rock and roll and just dirty, gritty, sexy voice of Mark Stuart, son.
Easy.
Wow.
Hey, this is a fact, son. I'm gonna prove it.
This is Sunday morning, boss.
Judge me if you like. I'm keeping it real, son. Roll the videotape. Watch this.
Tired of being clean, sick of being proper. Wanna live among the beggars and dig out in the dirt. Step outside the walls we built to protect us. Don't be afraid to get some mud on your face. Now come on, everybody. Come on, and solve someone. Let's get dirty, let's get loose. No matter where you come from, if you're beating up or bruised, let's get through this, let's get free. Free to be the one thing you were meant to be. Let's get dirty. A bit louder now. I get down. I get down. I get down. Jumping down the low, lift me up. I get down. Get down. Get down. Come on. Oh. I get down. Lift me up. Get down. Lift me up. Get down. Lift me up. Every time I'm down, my Jesus lifts me up.
Come on, y'all. Come on. I'm getting hyped now, son. Ow! I lost the mullet, son, but I still got the fever.
Easy on your neck right there,
I
dog.
don't know, dude,
Fever.
it's age, but listen, man, I'm telling you. You know now, you can see the influence in Simple Church. We were just talking about this, like, they were still talking like, this is really church. This is kind of crazy. I'm
I
like,
can't believe y'all do this every week. This
here-
is crazy.
But here's what's awesome. Y'all made it that way. You don't even realize that. Like when I went to see their shows as a young man, I was like, dude, it's hype. It's fun, dude. This is what we're talking about. Blowing stream. How many times have you seen streamers, confetti? Tricky put all the CO2 today out so we can have a fun.
Oh, yeah,
Just because,
Tricky.
why wouldn't you enjoy it, man? But y'all taught me that. And this is the truth, man. Every show that I saw you in, and they opened up for Jeff Moore for a while when I was with Jeff Moore, and it's not just what you see on the stage, it's what's happened behind the scenes. And I'm telling you, these guys are humble, sweet servants, man. They have loaded and unloaded right alongside of us. It's just who they are. And they're famous for a lot, but I'm telling you, one thing I noticed in that video I had almost forgotten, but look at this hair right here. Look at Will, look at that right there. That's famous. Dude, I had a sweet mullet, but I never had a mohawk like that done. That was awesome, all right?
Go big or go home, right, I guess? I don't
That's
know.
rock and roll, son. How'd you do it? How'd you make the mohawk happen?
It was pretty stupid, really. I used a lot of tricks. I ruined an entire carpet in the back of our bus on a tour because all the chemicals and stuff I would use to stand that thing up, but it was Knox gelatin, egg whites, sometimes Elmer's glue.
That's what I'm talking about, son. That's
Jell-O.
rock and roll. This is to teach the next generation because believe it or not, they're watching and listening. Look, you may prove it. Here's the next picture for you. This is Jonathan Posey's son. Go ahead and throw it up there. There it is.
That's it. Living the dream right
That's
there.
living
right?
the dream, man. Start that kid
That's
young,
scary.
man. Look at that rock and roll mohawk. That's awesome, man.
I love it.
So here's the deal. It wasn't just your cool hair. Mark, you had some cool hair too. Look at him, son.
Really?
Kevin Bacon in the house,
Oh,
son. Look at him.
yeah.
Oh, Rico Suave right
And
there.
the gun show.
Yeah, he's got the gun
Go
show.
Those
Right.
are water pistols. Water pistols. guys.
Did you have a little frosted tip, or was that
Yeah,
the...
let's not go there. It's cool.
He
No,
had some mullets sometimes, too.
I
you
had
know.
the worst hair of anybody in the band. I always had issues and struggles with
I
hair.
wish you could have put a hair montage together for Mark.
Yeah, next time. Will you come back? You want him to come back sometime? Come on.
Yeah, let's do it.
When you come back, we'll do hair montage.
I could do that. I could do that.
All right, but let me brag on these guys because it was way more than hair and lights and music and rock and roll and great voices. This is true. I'm not exaggerating at all. I told some friends that, hey, man, these guys are coming back. Some people were like, oh, that's cool. But there was one guy in this town. He actually ran the Revel, which y'all know the Revel, man. It's a music festival down on the riverfront down there. And he heard that Audio A was coming back. And he said, man, you have to tell them this. And I was like, all right, what? He goes, I've worked the Revel from the beginning all the way until, a long time, almost up until recently. I think it's been a couple of years ago he changed his position. But he said, in all of my years of working the Revel, of all the Christian acts, of all the people coming in, there was one band that stands out in my mind, and it was because they were the nicest, kindest, most easy to work with group. And you're looking at those two guys right here. It was Audio A, man. Give them some love. That's the truth. But hey, I'm not exaggerating. He said, you have to tell them that. Because it was back in 1997 when Open Eyes, man, back glory days, God rest their soul, we opened up for them, and it was just a fun time. But they were going, man, those guys were just as real and as kind as ever, dude. It just says a lot about who you are, man. Is that the way you have been? And I'm asking, because I didn't ask any other hour. Is that, because we set up and we tore down together, we did all that stuff. But is that because you're from Ohio, Kentucky, just the grassroots, humble way to do it?
I think we were Midwest boys. I came from a broken home. Mark was a pastor's kid. Ben was, from St. Louis area. Tyler was from up north of Minneapolis. But just really when we write a song like four corn-fed boys from the, heartland, that was kind of in our DNA. My grandma and grandpa, my mom and dad, and that generation sort of was just all about work and all about, work ethic and just being strong and having, just to get out there and get it done. So we strapped a lot of stuff on our back, or the band probably would have never made it if we didn't have the tenacity and the drive that we had and that Midwestern kind of backbone.
I'm gonna give you more insight. We're giving you 11 o'clock. We go a little long. I'm giving you more. All right. So here's my connection at another level. I don't know if y'all know this fully. So Jeff Moore's on the road. He was nominated for a Grammy around the same time. Audio A had been opening up for Jeff Moore, so they were the opening act on all these shows. Well, when they were on the road, they were hardworking, did everything. I mean, y'all made little money, just grunts. Well, they changed. I don't know who you went to after Jeff Moore. Did y'all do headlining after that?
No. We were opening for Newsboys, or I think we went to
You
DC
switched
Talk,
to somebody.
a DC Talk tour, probably.
Yeah, but so DC Talk. So here was the crazy part. The only reason I moved to Nashville and the only reason I had a job working with Jeff Moore is because they took another gig. Because the next band, Code of Ethics, great guys, but just didn't have a work ethic. And Roscoe Meek and Jeff Barkley and all my friends called and they're like, look, dude, if you ever want to move to Nashville, now is your time. I left Gadzooks that night. Got in my dude, how come you go? Dude, don't be hating on
Gadzooks. Sorry,
Yeah.
Gadzooks.
I left, man, my boy, we finna throw down. We finna go WWE. No, I did. I got in my Honda Civic, drove straight to Nashville in a snowstorm, jumped on the tour bus, and that's how I started working in Nashville.
Because the band that replaced us wouldn't pick up any gear.
And they were horrible.
They were terrible.
Okay,
They were terrible. Great guys, horrible work ethic. They were not from the heartland. I don't know where they were from, but it wasn't the work land. You know what I'm saying? But I owe it to you. So without you, I'd have never had that experience. So it's pretty sweet. So here's the other thing. You hear all the behind the scenes stuff, but they're also very successful. 2 Grammys, y'all. Come on, give them a little Grammy love, son. A little Grammy love. It's a pretty big deal. So give us a little story behind this picture, because there's some pretty funny stuff that you were telling me before. Give me the first Grammy story. This you said was second?
This was the Grammy, the second Grammy. Our first, we'd been nominated for 3 Grammys, and we'd get all rent tux and stuff. One year I bought a suit. I'm like, I lost it. I was so mad. And we would get a limousine, right, and show up at New York or at the what do they have it at?
Yeah, out there in New York and LA. They did it in LA
at
and
the
New York.
Forum or whatever. And we would lose every year. It was like
Rebecca St. James beat us one year.
Rebecca St. James beat us for the rock album.
She ain't rock and roll, man.
I think one year Twyla Paris beat us. We're just like, really?
Rock album?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what's happening.
Rock album of the year, yeah.
So anyway, we're just like, you know what? We just can't win. So we got nominated for a 4th Grammy, and then we were on tour, and we're like, we're not going. We're going to go to Ben's house and play pool in his basement instead.
Our drummer.
Yeah, our drummer's house. And it was St. Louis, so we had some really good pizza and some fried ravioli, and we were just living it up. We're like, we don't care about the Grammys, let's play pool. And then about 5 o'clock that afternoon, one of our buddies in Reliant K calls and says, hey, you just won a Grammy. And we're like, what? And we hear in the background, they're like, anybody from Audio Adrenaline in the building? And it was like crickets. And we're like, oh, gosh, we're not there. But that was our first Grammy. So when we won that one, we're like, we got to go for the next one. And that's what happened. I don't even know where that was.
I'm glad you did, dude. 'Cause look at that picture, son. Rock and roll, son.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to have 2 Grammys. Because I'm out with Mercy Me right now. And they don't have any, and Bart's so ticked off, it's funny.
Hey, listen, man, Grammy is mad respect. Last night, me and Will were walking around. We went to 8 different places. We went through Axis last night because you were working. He drove in from Texas last night. You got to give him some love, man. 5-hour drive, got in at 3 a.m. to be with you here today. Come on, man, give him some love for that, right? So while we're walking around with Will, nobody knows who Audio Adrenaline is. I'm like, this is a 2-time Grammy award. And they're like, oh, hey.
Yeah, very embarrassing.
Yeah, but that's all right, dude.
He's like the mayor of Shreveport.
Yeah, but it don't matter. You got to have mad respect, son. When you hold a Grammy, you've earned it. But they've also, not just won Grammys, sold millions of albums. This is no exaggeration. I can show you some of the pictures of different albums and things. I have a lot of favorites on there. There's a lot of things that jump out at me. But if you want some good music, it's still relevant today. This is the truth. My kids, that Get Down song, actually, when we went out to Cypress Lake, my son's playing bass now, Will. He's kind of getting in there. But we learned Get Down. I was like, man, do some fun. You got to have some fun, because today's music sometimes so melancholy, man. I'm sorry, dude. Don't let me get on my soapbox. I'm just trying to bring back rock and roll. So if you like rock and roll, let me hear you one time. Come on, somebody. See, maybe we can turn the tide, man.
Maybe it's going to cycle back. Maybe
I hope so, man. I hope so. But is there any one of those albums, I've asked you each hour, but is there anything, either one of you, that jumps out when you go, man, I remember this album or that song or something jumps out? Holla at me.
I mean, there's moments on all of them. I love the Lift. For a continuous start to finish performance, I love the Lift record. That was just a moment in time for me. It was one of our first records that we just really, as a band, locked ourselves in a studio for a long period of time and wrote everything and tracked everything and retracked everything. And I got to comp a lot of Mark's vocals on that. And we're on like 2-inch you know, old school analog gear, and we're doing all kinds of fun like that with our engineer. But I mean, there's moments on Worldwide. Obviously, I think Some Kind of Zombie was our quintessential rock record.
Yeah, son.
I love that.
It's that 90s vibe.
Some people say it should have been labeled Chevette, and it would have probably sold a gold record. But
Dude, do you know the song Chevette? Anybody know any Audio A fans? Come on, let me hear you. Yes, that's all right, dude. They're here.
Yeah, we had the lowest selling ever cover of the magazine CCM. We were on the cover.
Right, I remember.
And we were so cool at that time.
This is my idea. It was stupid.
We named our album Some Kind of Zombie, and we thought it would be cool to have us standing on caskets, symbolizing that we had overcome the death.
Yeah, they didn't dig it.
They didn't dig it. They wanted me in a mullet and behind a pulpit, you know? I'm like, come on. So we were barefoot in these tuxedos or something, standing on a closed...
See,
I thought it was brilliant.
See, but Christians sometimes struggle with all that,
They're like,
man.
that's weird. I'm like,
Anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, see, we're getting
What
away
about
from-
you, Mark?
My favorite is Underdog because I think it's the quintessential Audio Adrenaline theme. You know, we made that record at Amy Grant. She was married to Gary Chapman before Vince Gill at that time.
I remember.
100 years ago. They had a farm, and we made that record in Gary's studio. And Amy and Gary were always there. And they would do bonfires, and we would hang out with them. And we were just like, what is going on? These kids from Kentucky hanging out,
That's cool.
and Gary would let us play any guitar in his studio.
Flew us around in his helicopter.
Yeah, it was cool.
He
But
was nuts.
That's
the
awesome.
song, the message behind that one really means a lot to us because we felt in a lot of ways like underdogs in this music industry that we're involved in. So that means a lot to me.
What's cool about these guys, and they don't like to talk about it a lot, but extremely successful, but they also have some really cool connections. And we kind of overlook this, but I got to bring this back because this crowd doesn't know Christian music that much. They like they're kind of figuring it out. But who used to do his hair? Like when y'all were on the road, this is going to trip you out. You know, you saw the cool mullet. I mean, you saw that. This is going to blow your mind. He had a hairstylist. Who was his hair husband?
Yeah. This is crazy because we were on tour with Reliant K. At that time, Reliant K was a Christian band on Goatee Records. And there was another Christian artist, a girl, that just moved to town from California. And her name was Katie Hudson. She became Katy Perry.
Did y'all hear what I'm talking about? Talking about, I kissed a girl and I liked that. See, you probably messed her up.
Don't go there.
Wow, you just went
Wasn't
there.
gonna go there, but anyway.
You just went there.
Because
Wow.
everybody knows it. Y'all, look, this crowd knows that more than any Audio A song probably, right?
Yeah, that's probably true.
That's probably true.
So for that whole tour, she was Will's mohawk maker. So she would be the one
My
with
mohawk
the
tech.
Elmer's glue in the back, like making his hairstyle.
I'm
Katy Perry is his hairstyle.
I'm gonna give you one other connection. We didn't talk about this either. So Katy Perry, so Sonny from POD was here. So we were doing the same thing. And I pull up a video of them playing something, and we look in the background, and he goes, you know who's singing backup, don't you? And I was like, who? And he goes, that's Katy Perry. Yeah, so Katy really, she was a great Christian artist. She could have gone that way, grew up in a Christian home and stuff. Great girl, seriously. But it's one of those things where that was the route. But kind of a cool connection, man. I'm giving you insight on that. It's pretty crazy. And speaking of crazy, and maybe a little embarrassing as well, because I just embarrassed myself singing like a girl, but that's all right. Let's embarrass you a little bit and go back to a time that you probably want to forget, because these are the early days. Let's show it. Roll the tape.
Oh,
Prepare to be embarrassed.
Please.
Please redo that dance move right now.
No way.
Please do the old hide and seek.
That's totally
do the old hide and
embarrassing.
seek. Hide and seek. You see me? You don't. You do.
That's going back to like 1991, man. That's rude.
Hey,
That's really
At the
rude.
time, we thought we were just balling. We thought
Oh,
we were
yeah, that
we were
was
rock.
it.
Yeah, it was
That's-
man.
that's
We were
this
getting
is
a
gonna,
lot of direction from really smart people in Nashville.
your wife beater was great direction. Your
Oh,
body
my
and that
Lord.
wife beater was sweet. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
all 119 pounds of me in the wife beater. That was great.
So here's the deal. PDA, not a big hit, But boy, you did have some big hits. Anybody know Big House? Come on, man. Everybody knows what Big House. We may pull that up a little bit. Big House, never gonna be as big as Jesus. I love Get Down, Hands and Feet. All of these great albums, all these great songs. Is there anyone that kind of jumps out in your mind of going, is there something else you can tell us? We've gone through 2 hours, you got the third. Is there another song that you go, man, I like this song for this reason? Because I got one that I like, and I'm gonna prove it to you by showing you a video. Put you on the spot.
Wow. Well,
Look, I just dumbfounded
yeah,
them.
you did dumbfound. You know, I'll tell you a story.
Yeah, that's what we're here for, stories.
There's a song called, this is a rock and roll song. It's
I
called,
love rock and roll.
this song is called Lonely Man.
I don't think
All
I
right.
know it.
Lonely Man, yes.
I'm probably getting into this a little too early, but I was going through a hard time. My voice was busting out. Tyler played this riff with all this angst to it. We were just like, I was just like, dude, I love that song. You could feel the pain in this guitar riff. And he's like, it's not. Tyler would play something, and it was golden, and he would throw it away. I'm like, what's wrong with you? So anyway, they all left, and I was struggling with my voice at the time, going through some stuff. And that song, I would sit in the recording studio, and that song was about me. I was going through a lonely time, and but we made it about somebody else.
Right.
So, and that's probably one of my favorites. It's a mixture of rap and rock, but it had this really cool
T-Bone.
guitar riff, and it was a moment in my life that no one ever knew it was about me. It is, but we talk about that.
He said T-Bone was on it.
That's right. He does the rap on that.
T-Bone is like one of the founders of Christian rap. He's out in
he's legit.
South America.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber, if you look at his biography, he's like, T-Bone is one of his,
That's what this is why
one of
you
his
got to come
pioneering
in and
songs.
mad respect, son. We're talking, really, it's pretty cool. So here's the thing. I have mad respect for another reason. I was a student pastor for a long time. When this song came out, it helped a lot of kids. It helped a lot of pastors. It helped a lot of people. But I want to play a little clip from it, and then we'll talk about it. But probably one of the most influential songs for me as a student pastor is this next song right here. Watch. I'm telling you, man. Come on, give it a little ocean floor, son, if you know it. I tell you real briefly why, and then you tell me the whole story. But kids would come in, and they just needed hope. They felt like they'd messed up. They just needed somebody to go, man, can you relate? We had, back then, remember they mailed VHS cassettes. Who was that did that?
Interlink.
Yep.
So I had to put TVs in the entryway for kids to watch, and I would put them in. And so it just kind of goes back to it. But give us something on that song, man, because that's a powerful song.
That is my favorite Audio A song of all time. It was when everything for us came together musically, but it was also each of our contributions to that song artistically were on point. And what I mean by that is Will was producing, I'm singing, my voice is already going away, starting to break apart. Tyler was kind of emerging as one of our singers because I was needing him. And we kind of joined forces together to make that song. I'll share a little bit about that in a second. But I'm rooming with Tyler at this point. He's a little cantankerous and can be hard to deal with. He's got a little bit, he's just
Typical guitar player.
He was young, an artist. And I was like this older, kind of the leader, I guess, of the band. So I'm like, I'll room with Tyler, take one for the team. So we're always hanging out, rooming together in a hotel room. One night he starts to play that chorus. Your sins are erased. And this beautiful guitar recording and this song, I'm like, wait a second, that's amazing. He's like, really? And at that point, I was going through a lot of heartache in my life. And had a lot of guilt and shame in my life. And I knew I wanted to sing that song. So we finished the verses, put the whole chorus together. And the beautiful part about the recording of that song is I was trying to sing the whole song at one point. And Will was in the recording studio. He's like, try again. And I'm trying to sing, your sins are erased. And my voice would just break and it wouldn't work. So he's like, just sing the verses. Sing the broken pieces of the verses. And what we didn't know is God was kind of instrumentally putting my voice in the broken section. Like, the mistakes I've made that have caused pain, I could have done without. And then Tyler comes in and sings this beautiful soaring chorus about the redemption and the grace of Jesus. And all that it's just a way that God takes our brokenness and makes beautiful stuff together as the body of Christ. And that song just blew up. And I owe a lot of it to him because he was like, just keep going. The vulnerability is perfect. Because I just wanted to give up. And then it ended up being probably our best song we ever recorded. And it's a song of hope about his grace.
Yeah,
and
come on,
forgiveness.
man, give it up for him. Come on. I'm jumping down because it really comes back to the book now because honestly, when you talk about your brokenness and starting to lose your voice, the book really was a huge, I guess I would say, listening to you through the first couple of hours and talking to you down in Haiti, it's kind of like a purging. Some way you kind of get to tell the story and walk back through that. But at the same time, it is healing because it's painful in some ways, but in other ways, it kind of brings some healing because if you don't know the story, he's just got a book that's come out called Losing My Voice to Find It. He's with, again, Mercy Me Tonight. 11,000 people he'll be speaking in front of tonight, so say a little prayer for him tonight. But it's going to be an awesome, awesome story that you get to hear before anybody else because he's kind of telling you about it. The book is out front. You can get it. But what I love about this is really the behind the scenes of what it took to get to this place because this is not something you thought you'd ever do. You're not thinking about you're going to write a book, but tell us about this book. Tell us about losing everything, not just your voice, but even your marriage.
The book basically takes you on a ride, a rock and roll memoir, all the way to the top of Audio A. We felt like we had kind of snuck into the party as imposters. We weren't the best band. And we didn't feel worthy to be on stage with Michael W. Smith or Stephen Curtis Chapman, but we were. And we had to deal with that, and God said, hey, I'm going to use your brokenness. However, in the middle of all that, right at the top, I started to really struggle with my voice. I would go to vocal coaches, vocal doctors. I was prayed over, anointed with oil. My voice just kept getting worse and worse. At the same time, what wasn't public, not even to Will, was my marriage was falling apart. And I started to isolate, even in the middle of a tour bus, on a tour with Mercy Me, I'm depressed. And I didn't know it at the time. I'm struggling with that. I'm becoming more and more isolated. And everything that I thought I was in control of, and everything that I thought that God had for me, my ministry and my marriage, was being torn apart, just falling apart. And eventually I lost my voice. I lost the band. Lost my wife and my marriage, and I lost my dream to serve God. Everything was gone. And I started to get jaded. I still believed that God was there, but I didn't think he was good. I didn't think he had good things for me. And then I started to go to Haiti. My parents were missionaries there on these short-term mission trips. And really it was an escape. In Nashville, you can go to the Starbucks and hear a barista sing you a worship song that'll floor you. It sounds like Lauren Daigle. Everybody, Toby Mac and Bart and all these guys, their careers were continuing to be blessed. And I just became more and more invisible, more and more forgotten. And I felt abandoned by God. So I'd go to Haiti really to just escape Christian music. They didn't know me as Mark, the failed Christian singer. They just knew me as Mark, the son of a missionary. And there, amongst the poorest of the poor, God started to rebuild my heart. I stopped thinking about what I had lost and started concentrating on the people there that needed help. And in that, when you connect with the least of these, Jesus shows up. And he started moving me back to him. I started trusting again. And he grabbed my heart. And the book is about that. It goes into a lot of, it's basically how God gave me a voice. And honestly, people prayed and prayed and prayed, and they still do. They say, can I pray for a miracle for your voice? And I stop them now. Yeah. And I say, the miracle already happened. Yeah. God touched my voice, and now I become a voice for kids in Haiti.
Wow. Hey, how cool is that, man? That's why I love this dude. Let me tell you, so we're down in Haiti this past year, I think it was. It's all a blur to me. We're going back and forth all this much. It may have been the year before, but we're down there, Mark and Will and I, and everybody's kind of going to bed. And, we stay up and tell old rock stories. And actually, some of that video that I showed you today is I made them pull it back up. They don't like looking at themselves and they don't like reliving it. But for an old guy who loves them and lived for it, I'm like, dude, watch this video. Watch. They're like, we were in the video, dummy. We know. I'm like, but you don't know, man. You don't know how bad good you were. You don't know how awesome this was. And so we're laughing, and they're going, man, you're crazy. But everybody kind of slipped off to go to bed. And while we're sitting there under the Haitian stars, which is a beautiful country, beautiful people, Mark looks at me and says, he starts telling me a little bit of story. The book is not out. He's thinking about it. There's some talk about it. But he tells me one story that brought me to tears, and I want him to tell it today, and then I want to come back and tell you why I want him to tell it. But go back, if you don't mind, Mark, to the moment when really the marriage is over and you're packing the U-Haul and you're there in your home in Nashville.
Well, we were on tour at Mercy Me at the time. It was we were in between two legs of a tour, and I was really struggling. We were basically saying goodbye to our fans. It was called the Adios tour.
Adios, yeah.
So we're just crying every night, just like saying goodbye. What no one really knew is my wife had filed for divorce. So at that point, everything was just crashing down. I finally let the guys know what was going on in my marriage, and they just circled me up and just became the best brothers that I could ever dream of. But one night, it was December, my wife was leaving, and she had a U-Haul truck, and we were going through the house saying, this is yours. You take that, I don't want that. Just take what you need, what you want. We packed up a U-Haul, and I watched her drive off away. 8 years earlier, I had written a song for a friend of mine called The Good Life. He was going through a divorce. And he would come to me and talk to me about his life. And this was when we were making the Underdog record. That's why that's my favorite. He was sitting in my living room with tears in his eyes. He's like, this is the hardest thing I've ever had to go through. Every breath I breathe, I have to rely on Jesus. And then he looked up and goes, but I've never been closer to Jesus my whole life. And it dawned on me in that moment that when we go through desperation and tragedy is really the most beautiful times in our life, because that's when we're the most desperate for our Lord. And I'm like, I got to write a song about that moment when we're in the middle of tragedy. So it's called The Good Life, and it's about that irony of when you lose everything, that's when you truly find it. So 8 years later, I can't do the math. I watched my wife drive away. We had no kids in my first marriage, and I don't even have a bed in the house. I cry myself to sleep, sleeping on a hardwood floor. I wake up the next morning, iced over on the windows. It just looked like death outside. Winter, Tennessee, it just looks dead. And my old Bronco is out back. My wife had taken her car that starts all the time. And I'm like, this is gonna be the new normal. This is my life now. My band's over. I'm a divorcee, and I'm gonna walk out to an old truck that's not gonna start. I'm gonna have to call somebody to come and get me. And I walked out, it's crunchy, pry the door open, sit in these pleather cold seats, iced over. And I'm like, God, I just need you to start my truck. I just need to know you're here right now. And all I'm asking you, I'm not asking to heal my marriage, just start my truck. And I turn the key over, and vroom, the old Bronco fires up. And then immediately, music comes out of the stereo. And it's me singing to myself the same song, The Good Life. This is the good life. I lost everything I could ever need or ever dream of. And I'm like, Will, I scraped the ice off. I thought he had put a CD in the CD player and was giving me just a moment of hope. And I looked around, there was nobody there. And what had happened was the moment I asked God to start my truck, he not only started my truck, but 6 years after that song, I'd been on the radio. For some miracle reason, it was on the radio that morning, the exact moment I asked God to show up. And in that moment, I was baptized all over again by the Holy Spirit. I felt this warm sensation and this realization that God is good. He's not just a father that's distant, he's good. And I'm an artist, and in that moment, I understood that he's romantic. He's not just every piece of our life, he's got it on lockdown. And that he knew I'm gonna sit in that truck that morning. And 8 years ago, when I wrote that song for my buddy, he goes, you're gonna write that song for him, but it's also gonna be for you. And I got you. And I could have went south. I could have went really far south. But God said, hey, I just want to remind you that I'm here and I got good things for you.
Let me just say this, and I have to bring this up, is because God, again, gave Mark that song, and he wrote it for his friend, but then he ended up receiving it for himself. But I really 100% believe that he wrote it for you sitting in the audience today. Is that maybe by some odd chance you're coming in going, man, what do these old washed up rock stars got to do with me in my life? And why is Justin up there doing all this, you know? It's because it's authentic. It's no joke, man. This is as real as it gets. And when you're broken and when you're hungry and you're desperate, we have a God who meets us at that moment. And it might be your moment today to remind you that you're loved, and the romance that he wants with you, he's extending himself to you. It's not just blowing through the motions. Man, church is empty many times. Religion is double empty, but a relationship with him changes everything. It doesn't make everything better. It doesn't instantly fix everything, but it gives you hope in those desperate moments to go, all right, you hear me, you know me, and this is the good life. Even if I've lost it all, I can trust you. That is for you. That's not just for us. That is for you today. And that's why I'm glad you're here today. That's why I'm glad you're watching online or whatever, because it matters, man. It really does. Will, you want to add something or anything? Was there something?
No, I just think if there's anyone that could have really threw their fist up at the Lord, but he never did that. He was always like the pillar of audio adrenaline, and he just carried that right into his hardship and was like, you know, God, I may not feel you in this moment, but he just, like he said, he stuck it out and he carried on, and God showed him what the real purpose was, you know. So that's amazing.
Give him up some love, man. Give him some encouragement, son. Let me tell you why. Hold on a second. I'm going to tell you why. They don't like receiving all the time very well. They're not good receivers, but I'm telling you, dude, you have been a blessing to so many people. Thank you for writing the book. Thank you for writing the songs. Thank you for giving your time today. Thank you for sacrificing and continue to do it, because your life still matters. It influences me. It impacts me. And all of these wonderful people are going, all right, I get it. I know why I'm supposed to be here today. All right. So with all that being said, let's go back to Haiti for a second, because we kind of went through Haiti and we're going back. Now, ladies, I got to be honest with you. If you struggle with sin of lust, you want to look away from the screen right now, okay? Close your eyes, because I'm about to give you a...
Wow.
That's a man feast right there, son. That's just all that is. That is Mark at, how old are you, 17?
That is horrific. That is horrific.
That's Yvonne Lindell or McEnroe just showed up right
Yeah,
there.
look at him, son.
I think I'm wearing a diaper right there. I'm not sure what's going on.
So this was your early beginnings in Haiti, though, really? Seriously, your dad was a missionary there. I don't know what you're doing, but you're out there.
I have no idea. You know, I know what I'm doing. Good grief, that's horrible. Like, what in the world? Anyway, that's my buddy Fred back there in the yellow striped shirt. We're on the site of a children's hospital, still in existence today,
Wow, that's cool.
taking care of kids in Haiti. I built it with my dad. And what kind of, that to me is just a legacy beyond the audio drone, just to be able to do stuff like that, to serve the poor and the least of these, and just embrace people. Fred right there is one of the reasons we're a band. We used to sit up on top of our house as missionaries, and he would sing me Haitian kid songs in Creole, and I would teach him Bruce Springsteen songs. And
The boss.
Born in the USA was his favorite.
Of course.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was right there on the north coast of Haiti, and I had no idea what I was doing, but I was serving God, doing the best I can in my little diaper there, building a children's hospital.
That's awesome. Hey, but tell us about that, though, because there's a song that's really probably your biggest song. Yeah. You know, so give us a little.
Well, up on the rooftop, under the stars, like you said, you could see the ocean. It was beautiful, man. It was just incredible time in my life. And they would sing a song called that went like this: Escouvle ale laka papa mwe, laka papa mwe, laka papa mwe, escouvle ale laka papa mwe, ge joie joie joie. Come and go with me to my father's house, to my father's house.
How cool is that?
Well, I wasn't too young to pick up on the irony of here's a kid that's living day to day in a house with no running water, carrying water. He's happy to have a job with me because they hadn't worked in a long time. They're hungry. And all these kids across Haiti would sing this song about their father going to prepare a place for them. Because in Haiti, that's what kids are short of, houses and dads a lot. And they're singing about their father in heaven. That would become the genesis for our song, Big, Big House. So now as we look back, in hindsight's 2020, God gave us that song to give us a career so that someday, after we became old and my voice broke apart, we would have a platform to go help kids in Haiti. Wow. And that's how he works. He's romantic. He's a great author, I'm telling you.
And let me show you what they're doing through Hands and Feet. Here's a little 30-second video just to let you know what's happening down there in Haiti. It is awesome. And here's the Hands and Feet project. Check this out.
Founded in 2004, the Hands and Feet Project builds and operates children's villages in South Central Haiti. Our mission is to provide Christ-centered, family-style care for the orphaned and abandoned, helping each child reach their God-given potential. Our vision is to encourage and equip you to serve beside us, to become the hands and feet of Christ. To learn more about child sponsorship, short-term mission trips, or other ways to help, visit our website at www.handsandfeetproject.org.
Come on, y'all. Give it up for Hands and Feet, man. You. So Audio 8 kind of launches Hands and Feet, but then you're down there in the middle of the earthquake, one of the top 10 disasters in the world. Talk a little bit about that, and then we'll switch into some of the other stuff going on down there.
Yeah, my wife and I had remarried. God introduced me to a hottie.
Oh, yeah, you got a
by the
beautiful
coffee
wife.
and donuts. There she is.
That's what I'm talking.
And we got married in Franklin, and then he's like, Mark, I'm not done rebuilding your life. I want you to have kids. I want you to be a dad.
Wow.
And I'm like, heck yeah, I want to do that. So he put on our hearts to adopt these two, and we went to Haiti to work on the adoption. It was January 12th, 2010. We were there. At 5 o'clock that afternoon, the earth started to shake. And like it felt like a train coming through the town we were at. And then our buildings started to move back and forth. I'm from Kentucky. I've never been in an earthquake. I have no idea. I'm like, this is cool. What's going on? Then my dad was like, everybody out, it's a quake. And everybody ran out into the courtyard of our village. And I remember behind me, we have a mountain behind us. Literally splits open and boulders are rolling down the hill. I'm like, this is a big earthquake. Wow. It lasted 48 seconds. Wow. And at the end of it, I'm like, that was awesome. And then about maybe over the next 20 to 30 minutes, we started, and all the phone lines are down. We didn't know what happened, but my dad was like, Mark, can you go out and check around the neighborhood? And then we knew. Destruction everywhere. Hotels collapsed. Schools pancaked, dead bodies. It was like a war zone. And we were cut off from Port-au-Prince. We had no way to get supplies into Jacmel. The whole southern coast of Haiti was cut off. And literally the first people there were the church.
Wow, that's cool.
And before the United Nations, before the American Army, before the Canadian Army, literally the next day, a little boat about as long between these two speakers shows up. And this guy was like, and I'd been told that there's a big boat coming with supplies.
A big boat.
Literally, it would disappear when I'm looking out at the ocean, and it would disappear when the waves would come.
Came like 15 hours from the DR.
This dude, 15 hours with supplies in a motorboat.
Wow.
And that was the first guy, a believer, a Christian, and he had a load of rice and water. And I was like, thank you. I was a little disappointed. It was only this rowboat.
I think the mayor even cried when that first boat showed up.
Oh, yeah.
It was, and then the church started to pour in with airplanes and guys breaking the law, flying from America, landing on.
That's rock and roll.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to go under the radar. We're bringing in hope.
That's awesome.
And for the first 2 weeks, that was the only people bringing anything was the church. The body of Christ showed up, and it was awesome.
This is
so
why
cool.
I wanted to know that. The reason I'm trying to cut him off, sorry, Mark, is because I want you to understand is when I get up here and I tell you about my friends in Haiti or we go have this going on, it's not a joke. This is not, you're not sending your money to people you can't trust and you don't know what's going on. We're trying to help. We're trying to get involved. You're trying to be engaged with people that are hands-on for 20 plus years and blood, sweat, and tears, all in to make it happen. These are some of their missionaries that we got to meet while we're down there. They've got great people giving their life to this to try to take care of people in some of the worst circumstance situations. And we as the church, as believers, you want to have that impact, man. And so that's what's encouraging about it. If there's one thing they should do or you would encourage them to do, what's one thing that, they can't go on the trips all the time. Maybe they see the news and think, what can I do? Today, what could they do? Is there anything?
Absolutely. The best thing to do is sponsor one of our kids. When you sponsor a child, there's two things that happen. First of all, it gives them a hope that someone sees them. These are kids that have lost their moms and dads, all right? And they're dealing with, why am I unloved? Or why did I end up here? And when someone like you says yes to a child like that, you're giving them hope. So that's one thing. You're also providing food for them in schooling, tutoring, pastoring. We're moving them out of poverty into sustainability. That's happening. But beyond that, you're giving them hope. And then for you, there's a give back for you as well. When you touch and reach out to the least of these, you're meeting with Jesus himself. That there's just an equal reciprocal action for you and your family. You get blessed. In the middle of a family that has something and a family who has not, when they're connected through giving, Jesus sits right in the middle of that, and both people are blessed. Yeah. And that's what I would ask you to do, is sponsor a child tonight. You can write them. You can come on a trip and meet them. This isn't just some kid on a poster somewhere. These are real kids that need help. Sponsor a child for the smallest sacrifice. You can make the biggest difference in the life of a kid.
We have 60 roughly kids out there, and I'm hoping, I told them that, man, Simple Church is generous. I pray that it's true, that we won't have any kids when we're done, because this is just for them in Haiti. So it's not going all over the world. This is just about Haiti. And here's the other part, is you can go. We go down to the trips. We get to see, we get to hang out with them. Not only get to hang out with rock stars, you get to hang out with some rock star kids that are beautiful and sweet and kind, and so thankful to see you when you're able to do that. So do not miss that. And then Will, let me get into you.
Yeah.
Is because his beautiful wife and him have been really working as well for a long time. Here's his beautiful wife. Come on, give him some love, son. Give him a little love. Walking the streets of Haiti
Definitely
as well.
married up.
Yeah. And this is it. They're in the trenches. This is not stuff they're in the trenches. Tell us a little bit about Haiti Made, though, because it moved from child sponsorship, it moved into really products. So we'll kind of do it.
Yeah, I think at one point at Hands and Feet, I got the real blessing of living in Haiti, my wife and I and my kids. And
hold on, can you sponsor Mark's phone? It just fell and broke.
Just
So if you
broke
don't mind,
my
I'm just
cell phone,
kidding.
sorry.
Go ahead, Will.
anyway, so Mark's pretty much the catalyst for a lot of the crazy that happened in my life somehow. Just got me in this band. And then one of the things was I did Audio A 2.0, of course, with Kevin Max. He was here recently, and we did that little season. We wrote the record Kings and Queens, and it was all about hands and feet. Great song. The kids were all in the video, and Mark and I and Kevin were in the video. And just that whole record was about how they are, in God's economy. They're the heirs of a great kingdom, kings and queens, literally, as these orphan and abandoned children in Haiti that God has a special place in his heart for. And so I did that little season of touring for that record. And then Mark's like, Will, I think we really need you in Haiti, you and your wife. And Andrea, my wife, was director of child care. So over our circle of care and the care of the kids in Haiti, I was chair of the board at the time. And so we went on this crazy journey. We thought that we were gonna let our kids graduate from high school. Often you feel a call on your life and you kind of make up all the excuses why you shouldn't do God's call. And so we were thinking, we just need to let our kids get out of high school, which was about 3 years away. And we went home that night and we said, we think we might be moving to Haiti, but we really think that it's not the right time. We should wait on you guys to get out of high school, and then, we'll be empty nesters. We can go. And they were like, Mom and Dad, you don't need to wait on us. We're ready to go to Haiti. And so often your kids step up and they challenge you and let you know that your wrong thinking is not of the Lord. So we packed our lives into 15 check bags, moved to Haiti. We were there for about 1.5 years, got to do some incredible, ministry outside our door every day. Love on Haitian people, love on the students at Hands and Feet, pour into the missionary staff. And it was an incredible season that I'll never think we'll ever replace. It was just awesome and monumental, and what it probably has done for my own children is I'll never know until later. But for us as a family, it really cemented us together. But what we really found out during that time is that the best thing that we can do for Haiti, you know, when the church shows up and bring help and all that, it's awesome, but it's only a temporary help. If we can bring jobs, we bring a sustainable help to Haiti. And so creating jobs was like the biggest thing that we came home with. And it was, let's look at our campuses at Hands and Feet as job creation. Let's figure out other ways that we can partner with families because of the poverty cycles in Haiti. They need work, they need income, and then they can provide for their family, just like here in America. And so Mark and his team had created this thing called Haiti Made. And it was like, what if we could take the DNA of Haitians who are creative, entrepreneurial, just beautiful people, hardworking, super crafty. And what if we could make something there and we could take it back to America and we could give them a marketplace and they get a job, they show up, they work a day, they get a day's page, they go home, they feed their children. And we go and we sell it. We connect with bands, we connect with businesses and stamp their logos on it and do promotional marketing, or we make these incredible pieces that we put on HaitiMade.com. And it is just a cycle that is sustainable. And so that's what Haiti Made is. When I came back from Haiti, from being there for a little while, I became, the guy who's running Haiti Made. Mark kind of handed it off to me to run. He's out there, the voice of Hands and Feet largely, and then I got the chance to kind of run this behind the scenes operation in Haiti. Today there's 45 Haitian, a lot of them students at Hands and Feet who have transitioned, and moms who are fighting to keep their families, 45 of them today who are making goods in Haiti. And it's changing everything. They say one job in Haiti provides assistance up to 10 other people because they're so community oriented. Yeah. They're gonna go home and they're gonna give little brother Johnny, clothing, and they're gonna provide schooling for him. They're gonna put food on the table. They're gonna help their extended aunts and uncles and other kids in the community. So the reach of that 45 jobs is a lot more than that sounds. So anyway, it's just a really cool thing.
Let's show you a video just so you can understand exactly what we're talking about. Here's a little quick commercial for Haiti Made. Pretty awesome stuff. Watch this. And how awesome is that? Awesome. I'm telling you, there are a lot of products out there. If you're Christmas shopping early, now's the time to do it. Will brought all this stuff back. 100% of the proceeds. We're not taking a dime of this. It'll all go back to Haiti Made. It'll all go back to Will and them. The same with the book. We don't take anything off of that. That'll all go back to Mark and his family and the Hands and Feet. All of that stuff is just going towards them. But this is the other thing. They can also go on a trip. They've opened up what is called a condo. I'm going to show you a picture of really just the beautiful scenery. You want to go on a trip with us, but here's a video on why you want to go. Watch this.
Escape to the beauty of the world. For an opportunity at adventure. To discover, to laugh, to love, to live. Because this is how we do good.
Yes.
Who don't want to go on that trip,
Love
son?
that.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm telling you, you just don't want to miss it. You do not want to miss it. Next time we talk about them coming or them, just spread the word and go on those trips.
We'll go with you guys.
Yes, we got to do it.
You want them to go with us
wanna
on the
go
trip?
there.
Come on.
We'll host you on a
You
trip
all
to
are rad.
Haiti.
paddleboard. Oh, you just won't believe it. Well, it's going to be awesome.
It's a trip of a lifetime.
It
man.
really is. Here's the last thing. I got to tell a story on them. Back in the 2003, I was a youth pastor at First Baptist Bossier here in town, and they almost got me fired. I'm going to be honest with you, okay? Why did they get me fired? Is we had just built this beautiful sanctuary. You want to know why we don't talk about building church and everything? Here's one reason why. It's probably you. You've scarred me, all right? So we had built this new sanctuary, had all these nice chairs and everything. They're like, oh, man, this is beautiful. So I bring in Audio A for a big concert for the kids. They're great friends. We're like, oh, it's going to be awesome. So we do this big show, and right in the middle of the show, Mark decides to take off and walk across all those brand new chairs, and the pastor, I thought he passed out and died. You know what I'm saying? He's like, is he walking on our chairs? And I'm like, yeah, isn't this awesome?
He did that every night.
Yeah, he's like, no, it's not awesome. I'm like, I think it's kind of awesome. You know what I'm saying? So he was walking across, and then in the midst of this, I actually have video for you today. How awesome is that? Found this video because in the middle of him walking across the chairs and going about, he goes to a random kid in the audience, and I want you to know, see if you can recognize who this kid is, because he's been on this stage many times singing, and he might be here today to help us wrap this day up. But watch this as we get ready. Check it out.
It's our big, big house room. Our big, big tableware. Our big, big yardware. Our big, big, what is that? I get your hands up in the air. Come on, get those hands up in the air. Come on, Louisiana. All right, what's your name?
Careful.
Jonathan Posey. Jonathan Posey. Jonathan, where are you from?
Bossier City, Louisiana.
Okay, here we go.
Really big.
No, I don't want a little wimpy house either. It's got to be a big monstrosity hulk of a house, okay? Come on. Loud, obnoxious, yes. And hold it out. Here we go. It's my father's.
Now look at him, son. Give it up for Mr. Jonathan Posey. Come on, Posey. Hey, Posey, hurry up, son. I got to get you over here because we got one issue. Come on, hurry. We're running late, man.
Yeah.
You got an issue. What happened here? This is the poster from the
16
night.
years ago, we had the band. This is the original poster, ticket, backstage pass, and the only dude that decided to, walk off was Will. Everybody else signed it like a cool cat. He was like, oh, that was great. And Will was like, no, I'm good. No, he didn't do that. I'm just kidding. So I've been waiting 16 years and holding a grudge. I think he should sign it. What do you think?
Do you think he should sign it? Come on. All right. So while he's signing that, you know what we ought to do? You want to get on your feet? Let's have a good time. And I think we ought to try to do it right. Give Posey a chance to fix this whole big stuff, this whole big stuff, big house stuff, so that you can have a good time with it and wrap it and do it right like you want to. Get these kids on the stage. Let's have a little fun. Let's go, boys. Let's have a little fun. Anybody want some big house today to wrap this thing up? Come on. Why wouldn't you, man? Let's have a little fun. All right, give it, boys. Let's roll. Johnny Mac, give me something. Mr. Mark Stuart, who don't sing anymore, boys, gonna sing for you today. So give him a little love. Come on. Come on. All right, where you at, Perry? This is your chance. Hit it, boy.
I don't know where you lay your head or where you call your home.
Come on. I don't know where you eat your meals or where you talk on the phone. I don't know if you got a cook, a butler, or a maid. I don't know if you got a yard with a hammock in the shade. Come on, y'all. Oh, yeah, come on. Put those hands together. Come on.
I don't know if you got some shelter, say a place to hide. I don't know if you live with friends and who you can't confide. I don't know if you got a family, say a mom or dad. I don't know if you love it all,
but I bet you wish you had. Come on. Come and go with me to my Father's house. Come and go with me to my Father's house. It's a big, big house with lots and lots of room. A big, big table with lots and lots of food. A big, big yard where we can play. A big, big house. Come on. It's my Father's house. Come on. make sure you go out there and get some product, man. We're going to be out there in just a second. Thank you for being here. We love you. And you know how we do it, baby, with that peace, baby. Come on. With lots and lots of room. A big, big yard where we can play football. A big, big house. It's my father's house. A big, big house. My father's house. Come and go with me to my father's house. It's a big, big house with lots and lots of room. A big, big table with lots and lots of food. A big, big yard where we can play football. A big, big house. Come on, you gotta make it right. Come on, right here, 17 years, right here.
That's right. You ready?
Oh, yeah. Give me an oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's my